This week in mentoring, we talked a lot about career path and what's next, and how to progress from being an engineer to being an SE came up a lot. Most people understand that if you're working inside of a corporation, you're making $100,000 a year. Sales engineer is probably making buck 70 to 225, and that encourages folks to start asking questions about how they get out and transition into those roles. And you know, a lot of videos out there. You can go look them up. I'm just going to kind of go through my personal experience and tell you what it's going to take you to transition out from a corporate job out into the sales side. And the first thing is, do you have 7 to 10 years of experience as being the architect at, a Fortune 1000 or a tech heavy multi-billion dollar organization? If you don't, you're going to have real issues making that transition because you're going to have credibility issues in front of the customer if you don't have that. Um, in your organization, you need to be hearing the business needs and being asked to come up with technical solutions for those business needs. That's the first hurdle, I would say, when people ask me that. And if you don't, you need to get a plan together, which we discussed in the EA Sports Story video, and I'll link to that below. The next thing you got to ask yourself is, are you introverted or extroverted? If you're introverted, you probably really are looking for a professional services role or a role in a tech somewhere instead of transitioning out to a solutions architect or a sales engineer. If you are extroverted, you've cleared that hurdle, but you're going to have to engage with people. And most people transition in this role and don't understand that that S is for sales and SE. And you're going to have to get out there and you're going to have to get meetings with the engineers at your customers. And you're going to have to go meet with whoever it is, the manager over that technology. If that's network, you're going to have to go to the network lead. Or if it's cloud or if it's virtualization, you're going to have to deal at kind of the level you were at in enterprise before you left, because the account manager doesn't need to be plugged in right there. They need to talk to those people, but they need to be above. They need to be at the executive and C level to effectively um, get traction to get money to purchase things. And that's a common thing that an introverted person just has trouble with. The other thing you need to consider is the cost. These jobs cost you a lot. And what I mean by that is you're about to travel. Most of these jobs, unless you're in a major metropolitan area, you're going to get on an airplane. And you're going to travel a lot, 6 or 7 months a year. If you've got small kids or you know, hard on marriages, hard on raising kids, you need to take that into consideration before you make the jump out there. The next thing I usually tell people is, your health. You're going to be in an airport a lot of the time, and you're not going to eat right. You can have good intentions, but it's not really going to work out that way. Um, from there, what are you trying to get out of this? If it's just money, this might not be the best move for you. If you're trying to get control of your time, there is more control of time in the sell side than there is in the enterprise side. No one really wants to see you before 9 o'clock in the morning. Nobody really wants to see you after 3. So it lets you kind of plan your day and work around your kids, your life schedule, etc. Um, from there, it's tough to get hired into this. It's like being a CISO. CISOs seem to be able to get the next CISO job, but until you're a CISO, nobody even wants to interview you. As a sales engineer, it's going to be the same way. Um, you know, People don't hire their customers is the first hurdle. So if you go back to where I talked about inviting the sales teams in and talking to them, even if you're not buying from them, at least that introduces you to some people that don't have a vested interest and would be willing to hire you. For me, I would interview at Cisco over and over, and you'd make it from 1,000 applicants to 50 to 2, and ultimately there would always be somebody inside. I didn't get that break until I had branched out and met enough people that were not directly doing business where I worked, that somebody said, "Hey, let's hire him." But once you got that first break, sky was the limit. Um, the next question people ask is kind of, do I need to go to a VAR, value added reseller, or do I need to go to manufacturer? Manufacturer jobs are always better than VAR jobs, in my opinion. They will comment section below will be lit up with people saying one way or another. But here's my reasoning on that. When I made it out to the value added reseller, there was no onboarding, and you were literally just dumped out there and said good luck. I think of that Family Guy episode with the guy going across 5 lanes of traffic where he says, "Good luck, everybody," and then starts cutting across. That's about what that felt like. Where going to work for a major manufacturer, there is an onboarding process there, and they will bring you up to speed on that product. But I want to double back all the way to that 7 to 10 years of experience. If you've got that and you're onboarded at the manufacturer with the product, you know where the product actually fits and how to go out and speak to people about forming the solution. If you don't have that and you're fortunate enough to get on with the manufacturer, you'll go out and tell them anything to get your product sold, because that's all you're armed with. So, you've got to think about that part. But ultimately, the manufacturer job will pay more. It will have RSUs, which is stock options, and then most tech companies allow you to buy stock at a discounted price. So that is the better job. But before you go down that path, you need to think about what your real mission here is. When most people is trying to get control of their time, because I remember when I was an engineer, that was a 12-hour a day job that was thankless and really hard and demanding. The SE role will be hard and demanding too, but it will not be working in a data center at 12 o'clock at night for the most part. So, if you're at that point and you're looking to make a transition, reach out to me here on LinkedIn or at the Mentoring Club, and links to that will be below, and start trying to help you move from obscurity to prosperity.